Morning, this is Katya from Cover Magazine. I'm sitting with CEO Godfrey Nti of the Financial Planning Institute, who has just heard about a significant victory at Supreme Court. Godfrey, as far as we know, complainant Elizabeth Coetzee had her appeal denied at Supreme Court after being found guilty at the High Court after having a complaint lodged by her client of unprofessional conduct. Can you give us some background on this case?
Thank you very much. This case has started in 2007 when one of Mrs. Elizabeth Coetzee's client approached FPR, raising some concerns around the way she's been treated by one of our members. And we are a professional body. For us, the public interest comes first. And we take complaints regularly from consumers, and this is just one of the complaints that came through in 2007. We looked at the matter, we thought there was enough merit to go to a disciplinary tribunal, so we put together a disciplinary tribunal, and as a result of that, she was found guilty back in 2007. And ever since then, it's been a whole back and forth of, she obviously wasn't happy with the verdict. She appealed. We looked at her appeal, we thought there was not enough merit for it. She took FPR to the High Court, and the High Court asked that we do an appeals tribunal, which we essentially did back in 2010. And that tribunal ended up with another guilty verdict for Mrs. Coetzee being a member of FPR. We communicated that she again was not happy with the verdict, so she took us the tribunal verdict, or the appeal tribunal verdict, to the Supreme Court to the High Court in Cape Town yet again. And she was found guilty by that court in September last year. She was found, or the court upheld the decision of the FPR appeals tribunal. And again, she wasn't happy with the verdict, which again is her right, and she decided to take the matter onto the Supreme Court of South Africa. And that is a verdict we just received today, where the Supreme Court agreed in totality with the process that FPI followed, but also the verdict that FPI found her on, or the guilty sanction that FPI placed on her, was something that the Supreme Court upheld. Okay. And we're quite happy with that.
Wow. Okay, so this case has gone on for 8 years now, since 2007. How's the FPI feeling about the Supreme Court's findings?
We're definitely very happy about the findings. We're very satisfied with the findings. We think they reflect the seriousness of the matter. We definitely think, the first thing I want to say is that our internal processes have been vindicated at the highest level. You can't get any higher than the Supreme Court of South Africa. It is something that we're very, very proud of. But also for us, the biggest reason why I'm smiling today is because we have something tangible to demonstrate that our willingness, our resolve to uphold the high standards that we expect of the financial planning profession, the financial planning professionals, has come up to a huge test, and our resolve has stayed strong to the point where we're getting this verdict today. The implication is so massive. It demonstrates that we can self-regulate as a profession, especially in an environment where there's so much talk around we need to add the level of to regulation. Yes. We need to go through even micromanaging what people should be doing. We're definitely saying that there's need for that, but if people hold themselves up as professional financial planners or as professionals, they automatically hold themselves up to a higher standard. Yes. And that is what FPI is there for, to help self-regulate the profession. And we're saying the verdict simply says, if you are a professional, the public can be rest assured that there is a body like the FPI out there who can hold you to higher standard, who can ensure that should something go wrong, we have the willingness and the capacity to do something about it. And this verdict is pretty much a reflection of the fact that we have done something about it.
Yes, definitely. And so the significance is for the profession as a whole, not just for the Financial Planning Institute.
It is definitely significant. The significance goes right across. It's certainly not for the Financial Planning Institute alone. It's certainly for the industry overall, for every single South African out there, who intersect with the financial services industry. For us, it's about how do we build trust in the industry? How do we ensure that, for our mothers, friends, brothers, sisters who come to the industry, looking for what the industry's got to offer to make their lives better, how can they feel a sense of comfort knowing that they can trust the people they find in the industry?
Yes.
Now, for what this verdict simply says to the public, that you can run, but you cannot hide.
Very true.
And for the many good CFP professionals out there who are widely known to be the most competent, most ethical, most professional, they have no worry. If anything, we've received all this good praises coming out of our community to say, well done, because what you're doing is essentially upholding the integrity of the profession, upholding the high standards of the profession. So from our point of view, it's not just an FPI thing. Every single South African out there should be very proud. Every single company out there, every single professional out there, if the regulator, the policymaker, they should be happy that they've come face to face with just how serious a professional body can be to uphold high standards in the industry, which can only benefit the public, which can only benefit even the good, or benefit every single advisor, every single employer out there who really means well.
Yes. Okay. And you mentioned the regulatory changes.
Yes.
For yourself, how does this case link up with the regulatory changes, the FSB changes that are happening at the moment?
Thank you, and I'm sure you're fully versed with the fact that the FSB recently put out the retail distribution paper,
yes,
a set of 55 different proposals, and by and large, we're definitely happy with what we see coming out of the paper. For us, it's a reflection of the many different things, many different discussions we have had with industry players, whether it is the FSB themselves or it's even industry bodies, employers out there, even our members, on how we think this industry should best be set up to be able to deliver on the outcomes that we all want for ourselves. Now, the number of proposals in there, we're definitely happy that if you look at the FIRES Act, it makes mention of financial planning once, and it makes mention of it in passing. But that was a decade ago. But if you look at this discussion paper now, financial planning is mentioned something like 55 different times. Financial plan now is mentioned about 15 different times. And even the paper makes reference up to 3 different times on the importance of professional bodies, the role professional bodies would play in ensuring that this industry can do the right thing. That for us is very, very key, because we really believe that to an extent, you can't legislate professionalism. You can't regulate, you can't force somebody to be a professional. At the heart of true professionalism is this voluntary thing, that somebody who sits in their own quiet time says, you know what, I want to be the best I possibly can be in this sphere of financial planning. I want to be a true professional. It's not something that I need to be forced to do it, because with that, and there's no better way for that voluntary spirit to come through than for professional body to play in that space. Because remember that nobody is obliged to belong to FPR. Nobody is obliged to become a certified financial planner. It's not an obligation. But when you make that decision to become a certified financial planner, you are saying, I want to be the ultimate professional in this industry. But it also means I'm ready to hold myself up to higher standards. And I'm willing to be judged at that level of high standards by my own peers. Okay, and now that we're having this retail distribution review discussions going on in the industry, we definitely think this verdict comes at the right time, because there's no better way of demonstrating that a professional body that lives true to the spirit of being a professional body can self-regulate, can self-govern. For us, this decision asserts FPI's ability to exert influence over the conduct of our members. Conduct that they help set for themselves, but conduct that we make sure that this conduct is what is expected of them by the public, and nothing less would do. And now that we're having the retail distribution review discussions, we're hoping that we're able to impress yet again on the FSB, on the powers that be, to say, there shouldn't be this mad rush to regulate anything that moves, and I don't think that's the intention either. You can afford to count on professionals in the industry to hold themselves up to high standards. So like that, you don't have to deal with some of the compliance costs which is going out of the roof, because they have no choice but to follow a tick box approach. We don't follow a tick box approach. Because we hold our members up to high standards, and because we have a peer review mechanism in place. I don't need to tell, we don't tell our members, you must keep exactly this records. You must tick this box, you must tick that box. We know what is expected of you as a professional operating at that level.
Yes.
And because you'll be judged by your peers, if they say you're not acting in the spirit of the profession, then you really are not, because they are your peers. And that for us is something which we need to give the chance for that to work. That can really go a long way towards reducing the cost of compliance we see in the industry, but not reducing standards.
Yes.
Not reducing standards, because we know that professionals can hold themselves up to a higher standard.
Automatically being TCF friendly, RDR friendly, just by having professional integrity.
If you live true to the code of conduct of the FPR, the code of ethics and professional responsibility of FPR, there is no way you would live to the spirit of that of what that document professes without and then find yourself lacking when it comes to TCF. Yes. Because at the core of the code of ethics of FPR is really putting your client's interest first. Yes. Client's interest is so important, and there is no way that you would, and that for us is a big thing, because we tell our members there's so much discussion around RD, around TCF. If you stay true to what we say as in our code of conduct and professional responsibility, you're fine. You can't go wrong. That is the whole point. So our members are not looking forward to TCF and being scared about what's going to happen. They feel like it's coming at the right time, and it is what they do already. Yes, there'll be tweaks here and there, but it's something that they need to embrace, and I think by and large they're embracing it.
And this case is a symbol of that. Brilliant. Okay, thank you so much for your time, Godfrey. Yes. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. Always good. Thanks.